In this video, we're looking at how to add with decimals. Before continuing with this video, make sure you're comfortable adding whole numbers using column addition. Now, the first three examples here are easy enough that we'll be able to do these in our heads, but we'll also have a look at setting these out using column addition because that will help us with the later examples. So let's think about this first one. We've got 34.5 plus 2. It's really helpful here to think of place value. We've got 3 tens, 4 units or ones, and 5 tenths. And we're adding 2 units or 2 ones. So altogether we'll have 3 tens, 4 units plus another 2 units, which is 6 units, and 5 tenths. And that gives us 36.5. If we wanted to work this out using a written method, then we would do it like this. We would have 34.5 plus 2. The really important thing here is to make sure that the place value columns are lined up. I had 34.5, and when I'm adding 2, I had to make sure that the 2 goes in the units column, so it's lined up underneath the 4, because I'm adding 2 units. Now we're ready to perform column addition. Some of you might not be happy with this bit here being blank, but that's okay. We can fill that in with a 0. We've got 0 tenths, and we need a decimal point there. So 2 is equivalent to 2.0. It's 2 units and 0 tenths. Now, just adding these, we get 5 plus 0 in the tenths column, which is 5. Don't forget the decimal point there. Then we've got 4 units plus 2 units, which is 6 units. And then we've got 3 tens plus no tens here, and that gives us 3 tens altogether. So our answer is 36.5, which is what we got. Let's move on to question B. We have 59 plus 2.8. This is another one we can do mentally, but let's see if we can set it out correctly using column addition. Let's start with the 59. I've got 5 tens and 9 units, and I want to add 2.8. Where do you think the 2.8 should go? Well, the 2 in the 2.8 is in the units column, so it should go under the 9, which is also in the units column. So we've got 59 plus 2.8 like this. I've got my place value columns lined up correctly. Before we do the column addition, you might like to pop a 0.0 here. 59 is worth the same as 59.0. There are 0 tenths in this place value column here. Now let's add those together. 0 plus 8 gives us 8. Don't forget the decimal point here. Looking at the units column, we have 9 units plus 2 units. That gives us 11 units, which is equivalent to 1 unit and 1 ten. So I can put the 1 10 up here in the tens column, and then I've got 1 plus 5, which is 6. So our total is 61.8. Let's move on to question C. This is one we can easily do in our heads with no working required. We've got no units, 1 tenth, plus 9 units. Well, that's 9 units and 1 tenth, which is just 9.1. We've got 9 in the units column and 1 in the tenths column, so that's 9 units and 1 tenth, which is what we have here in total. If you wanted to set that out using column addition, it would look like this. Again, if you like, you could put a placeholder 0 in the tenths column here, and don't forget that decimal point if you do that. Adding those together, you can see that we will just get 1 there and a 9 there, so we get 9.1. Let's move on to question D. We have 3.4 plus 19.8. The important thing is to make sure the place value columns are correctly lined up. A good way to do this is to make sure the decimal points are correctly lined up. So if I have 3.4 like this, I can then pop the decimal point for 19.8 directly underneath this decimal point here. So I've got my decimal points in line, and that makes it really easy for me to put the 19.8 in the correct place. The 8 is 8 tenths, so it goes in the tenths column. The 9 is 9 units, so it goes there, and the 1 goes there. So now we've got the addition set out correctly. We're going to do this exactly like you're used to with column addition, except we have to remember we've got a decimal point there, which means we need to have a decimal point in line in our answer. So I'm going to pop that in straight away. And as with normal column addition, we start from the right-hand side. 4 plus 8 is 12, so we're going to put a 2 there and the 1 up there. What we've really done there is taken the 4 tenths and the 8 tenths and realised they added up to 12 tenths. We put 2 of those tenths in the tenths place value column, and we've taken the other 10 tenths and exchanged them for 1 unit, which is why it's gone up there. Now we've got 1 plus 3 plus 9, which is 13. 13 is 3 units and 1 10. And we can now do 1 plus 1 in the tens column, and that gives us 2 there. So our answer is 23.2. By the way, you might prefer to have the 19.8 above the 3.4 in your working. It doesn't matter which way round they go, because it doesn't matter which way round you add two numbers. 3.4 plus 19.8 is equal to 19.8 plus 3.4. Now, pause the video and have a go at question E for yourself. Here's what you should have got. Again, it's important to make sure the place value columns and the decimal point are correctly lined up. Now, it doesn't matter, however, if you put the 216.38 above the 42.52. Either way is fine. Now, let's start from the right-hand side. We've got 2 plus 8, which is 10. That means we put a 0 in there and a 1 up here. Then we've got 1 plus 5 plus 3. That gives us 9. Then don't forget the decimal point down here. Next, we've got 2 plus 6, which gives us 8. Then we've got 4 plus 1, which gives us 5. And then we've got 2 there. So we have our answer, which is 258.90, which I can just write as 258.9. The 0 there is just telling me I've got 0 in the hundredths column of my total. And because I haven't got any further digits afterwards, I don't need this 0 as a placeholder. So I can just leave my answer as 258.9. Finally, pause the video and have a go at question F for yourself. Here's my working. Notice my decimal points lined up and the place value columns lined up correctly. I'm going to pop placeholder zeros in here, and then we can add as normal. 0 plus 2 is 2, 0 plus 0 is 0, 9 plus 5 is 14, so we pop a 4 in there and a 1 up here. 1 plus 0 plus 2 is 3, make sure we have the decimal point there. 2 plus 9 is 11, and then 1 plus 7 plus 3 is 11. So we have a total of 111.3402.